So we've added a 3D model asset library inside STAGEit. So if you want to create scenes like this, you now can do so. The models are all inside the app. You don't have to import them. You can still import your own models, but we have a library of models and skyboxes and audio files that you can use to build your own scenes. So if you want to build your own beautiful immersive scene, like this space one here, it's totally doable now. So I'm going to show you how you do that. You tap here, create scene, and we give it a name. And when you go into a scene, you get to position it. And you can either position it on the floor or on the table. And in this case, I'm going to put it on the table so you see it jump up there, and I've scaled it down so I can work on it at scale. Because if you do it at 100%, everything will come in full size. So because I'm working on a table, I want to scale it all down. So I'm going to look here, and there's an environment tab. We're going to add a base in. We've got a few bases, and we'll be adding to these over time. And you can see how I've pulled it down and it sets on the table. Now, there's some settings in the app that allow you to do some clever stuff. So if we want it to go below the floor, which in this case is the table, we can turn that off and we can move our models lower. But for this one, I want it to be on the table. I'm turning on the grid so I can see where the center of my scene is. And I'm also turning on the bounding box feature, which gives me properties about that object. So blue means it's selectable, movable, interactable. So yeah, scaling it up to the right size, getting it about right. And then I'm going to make it uninteractable. I'm going to freeze it. And it goes grey, which means I can't move it, but also it won't get in the way of other models. Should a model come in behind it, I can still access it and move it. So I'm adding the most hilarious of all the planets, Uranus. So yeah, gonna whack it up in the sky over there, shift over, give it a bit of a twist, that'll be nice. And you can see the details panel there. That's really useful if you're doing lots of accurate stuff. Gives you all the information about the positioning of the model. This is a really cool model. I love this one. This one's in the library. This is a really cool spaceship. Hey, I'm building a space scene with this space plinth. Let's put in a spaceship, and that's very cool. And then this is a model. This is a model that we found actually in the public domain. I'll put a link to the model in the description of the video. But it's a speeder. Pop that in there, and now we're going to add a skydome. Now, skydomes really make a massive difference. They basically put you into an immersive space, and effectively they're 10 kilometers in size, so they're really, really big. We're going to add a little rocket. This is one where it's not in the library. Actually, we're going to add this one to the library because this one is a Creative Commons model, so anyone's allowed to use it. We're going to go ahead and pop that into the library. So a little rocket. And also this is the Apple model. It's an animated model that Apple have got on their website, and it's a .reality file. These are compatible with STAGEit. And so it's really cool to put something in that has a bit more interactivity and animation to it as well. Again, STAGEit supports all of this, and it just sort of enhances the experience when you're building a model. Still doing it at tabletop, so you can see how it's all quite scaled down, and I'm able to kind of look around and maybe peer around an object, move it, position it, so I can roughly position stuff where I want it. And here you can see I'm going to go ahead and disable that model because it's quite big, and again, a big model can get in the way of other models, so it's useful just to disable it so that when you don't need to move it, when you've got it set, it's all good. So I'm in a much larger space here, and I'm going to place my scene in this room. Now, you can see I'm selecting to put it on the floor this time because there's no table. I want it to be anchored to the floor, and I'm going to scale it to 100% so it's full size. And now you've created the tabletop version, and you've just created this experience where you've got this massive spaceship flying over your head. The video does not really do it justice. It is pretty incredible how this feels, and particularly when you add audio to the object, so you can add a rocket ship sound or a background audio. You can hear that the lunar base has some music to it, and this is amazing. When you go to the edge of that plinth and you look down, it's so far down, you feel like you're floating in space. It is super, super cool, and it's quite peaceful. Here I'm going to make, I decided actually I wanted everything a bit bigger, so now I've scaled it up. I want to edit the scene, and I'm actually moving the base so that the top of the model is at the floor level. So I've allowed it to go beneath the floor level, making sure the rocket's the right size, going to scale up the speeder bike, scale up the lab as well. This is me walking right over to the corner of the room. And once you stop moving, the scene kind of comes back into play, and you're looking over the edge, and it's kind of, wowzers. It is epic to sort of see the scene you've built. Right, want to add some planets now. Jupiter's a really cool planet. This one's in the library. It's animated. It actually slowly rotates. So that's really, very cool. And you can kind of position it and put it wherever you want. You could build the whole solar system if you had a mind to. And I think this is where I was placing the spaceship actually beneath my feet. I'd scaled everything back down, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if the spaceship was coming up from underneath? So I'm sort of floating on this plinth in space, and there's a spaceship coming up. And that's me playing around with Mars. I'm not sure if that one spins. I don't think that one does spin. But that's in the library as well. So as I say, STAGEit. It's available for free on the App Store to download. We've modified it so you can create up to 5 scenes for free, and the asset library, the STAGEit asset library, which has models, Skydomes and audio files, is also accessible for free. So you can get started without any investment, and you can upgrade the product if you want to bring in your own assets and try out your own models and kind of really personalize the experience. Thanks for watching.